Hello, random stranger. Welcome to Houseki no Kuni, the reading of chapters 53 to 56. And we are finally on the moon. At least I'm assuming that we'll get to see for the first time what on earth happens on there. Sorry, no, not what on earth, but you guys know what I mean. Couple of thoughts before starting volume 8. The first is a survey of all of the symbols of enlightenment that Ichikawa has been just constantly throwing at us since the very beginning. So we've had Foss surrounded by butterflies, symbolic of transformation and hopefully like becoming a better, more enlightened version of themselves. I don't really know how that's going. We've had flying birds with their shadows going across Foss's face, symbolizing freedom or like freedom of thought and this constant wanting to question conventional truth. When Foss first activated their gold and platinum alloy, it took automatically the shape of the lotus leaves, which in Buddhist thought is a very prominent symbol of enlightenment. And of course, all of the other allusions to this Buddhist idea of human enlightenment, including Foss's collection of most of the materials of the treasure tower. And now we are literally flying to the moon. That is why I expect the next lot of chapters to cause a pretty big shift in our current understanding of the Lunarians and the war. So while Foss continues to undergo this monumental process of enlightenment, physical, mental, and symbolic, we, the readers, will also undergo a kind of, well, a complete shift in our thinking, maybe. Probably not immediately, but the only thing I do know for sure is that there are going to be some massive reveals just around the corner. And for that to happen, I predict that we would have to be maybe challenged after learning more about the Lunarians and why they need the gems and the Admirables, challenged to maybe even be sympathetic towards them, which leads me to a question asked by Barry McKokonut, which is a nice name change, by the way. So the question was, do I think the Lunarians are evil? Because so far the story only ever portrays them as the big bad, but drip feeds doubts around Sensei and pushes the reader to a more neutral stance as trust in both is very little. It's funny because I've been thinking much too deeply about how we define evil and when it is that we can justifiably call something or someone evil, largely because I've just finished watching Made in Abyss. So in a nutshell, and without going into the thousands of years of debate around this very topic, I think that even if someone doesn't see or is incapable of feeling that their actions are evil, that doesn't then automatically negate the presence of a general evil or some objective standard of evil. So from the point of view of the perpetrators of violence, and in our case, as far as we know, it's the Lunarians, to them, they might just be capturing gems and kidnapping the entire race of the Admirables and, forcibly turning them into mindless creatures for some greater purpose. For example, for the sake of humanity, or at least the sake of restoring humanity. So their intentions might not be evil, but that doesn't mean that we won't be able to apply some more objective standard of what constitutes evil and harm to their actions and their characters. And actually, I've seen this not just in like stories, but in real life court cases that I've sat in on. Some of them are quite horrific. It's the people who are honest to God, believing that they've done something right or good, or who are mentally incapable of human empathy. It's those people that carry out some of the worst objectively evil crimes. And so my really roundabout answer to that question is we'll see. I think the Lunarians are susceptible to evil as much as any other character in this series, though they may not recognize it in themselves. unless the new information that we get on the moon somehow is able to recast all of the events of the past 7 volumes in a completely new light. Some more theorizing on Sensei and his relationships with humans, which we learned a little bit more of last volume. Nerdy3177 pointed out something interesting, that the more sunspots that are stacked together, the less it's an attack on the gems and the more it's a psychological attack on Sensei. Yeah, so from the double and the triple sunspot so far, they've definitely been engaging in some kind of weird mind game with Sensei. They've sent down Shiro, and then it was the game pieces, and then most recently the Doctor, the last of whom elicited a fascinating response from Sensei. So he recognized someone he thought he knew, a human, because we do know now that he once knew humans before the Six Moon disaster happened, and he couldn't destroy it, seemingly because there was too much of a personal connection there. Like, he cared so much for whoever the replica was meant to be that he couldn't even destroy a fake version of it. Which makes me think, was Sensei raised by humans? Did he come to be so strong because humans, a bunch of them, like, did something to his body, like Wolverine style, where experimentations turned Sensei into this indestructible, immortal, adamantium being? Or did they somehow give or inject a soul into a previously inanimate object and then that became Sensei? Yeah, except in Sensei's case, maybe he actually developed feelings of affection towards the humans who did that to him. But at the same time, he also deliberately shields his gem kids from knowing anything about humans. Could that be because he's protecting the gems from seeking out humans, or like a way to restore them, sort of what Foss is doing now, maybe unbeknowingly? Because while he may have good memories of the certain humans that he knew, the part of humanity that is awful and sinful, as Sensei has put before, makes even the thought of them or the knowledge of them too dangerous. I have no idea. There's just too many questions, so we're going to move on. So my favorite line of the last volume was the legend of Rutile as told by Variegatus. So they said Rutile, the white madness who carries 1,000 dismantling tools. I did wonder what Rutile would think if they ever heard that that was a story that was being passed down the generations of Admirables about them. I don't think she'd care too much. She'd probably just scoff at the idea and then just keep going on with dissecting whoever was their latest victim. Lapis, I was flicking through the last volume and I was struck again by how they were able to plant certain inclusions of theirs, so certain memories and instincts, the ones that are benefiting Foss right now, in anticipation of another gem eventually getting their head. Which makes me wonder, is Lapis the only gem who's ever thought to do that or has been capable of doing so? Because I'd always thought that inclusions will just do whatever they want without any of the gem's conscious input. But maybe Lapis is just that smart enough to have figured how to do that. It kind of reminds me a bit of Sherlock's Mind Palace, where he can organize and store memories in the compartments that he finds most useful. Finally, Sevkev made a really good point about what it must have been like for Cinnabar to have Foss all of a sudden go to them and ask them to go to the moon together. So they wrote, it must be really troubling from Cinnabar's perspective. More than just the fact that no one's come back from the moon, the whole reason Foss wanted to find Cinnabar a new job in the first place was so that they wouldn't go to the moon. Now Foss is asking them to go, and obviously the motivation is very different, but it has to be a weird 180 from Cinnabar's point of view. And that was so spot on. It feels like such a long time ago, but yeah, Cinnabar had given up on living and just wanted to disappear off to the moon. So the irony in Foss telling Cinnabar that they need their smarts and their companionship, in other words, like a new purpose and a use for Cinnabar's talents, but on the moon, that irony, yeah, was not lost. All right, guys, which brings us to the start of the Moon volume, volume 8. So Land of the Lustrous, volume 8 by Haruko Ichikawa, who, last I checked, is still on hiatus for this series. Okay, as always, we need to identify who these gems are. So that's definitely Watermelon, which I'm looking forward to getting to know more of, because up until this point, we still haven't really seen much of them. That is, oh god, I don't know. One of them. Okay, the gem on the top left corner is the gem I have a feeling I keep forgetting the name of. Benetois. Ironically, I remember because I couldn't stop forgetting their name. That's Benetois. Is that Nepti with the braided hair, horizontal braid? And I don't know who that is. That's not Lapis, because Lapis is Foss now. La Foss. That's Foss in the middle. Just chilling. Almost looking calm and content. That's strange. And then they seem to be sitting on some kind of tree branches, but it looks suspiciously like really black, like the black of the sunspots that the Lunarians come in on. I don't know if we're ready for the moon, guys. So the reason why Foss is so chill on the cover is that they've obviously had a few moon martinis. Oh, that's so interesting. I can't even begin to imagine why there would be a martini there. Maybe the moon people aren't as bad as we thought they were. If they know how to make martinis, they can't be that bad. All right, character introductions. Let's see if we learn anything new. Euclase, a quiet intellectual. Props Jade up as a leader, but is the gem who really holds all the authority. That's such a... You know what? One of the most stable relationships in all of Gemland is between Jade and Euclase, and you can just tell how much they need each other and support each other and keep all of the other gems in line in a way. But yes, I can see how Jade would think that they were the one that wears the pants, but Euclase just quietly smiles in the background with a knowing wink in their eye. Jade, Euclase is much older and provides great support. Alexandrite, split personality, like literally. Was rather spoiled by former partner Chrysoberyl's calm and gentle personality. So they haven't, Alex hasn't really partnered up with anyone else. They've just sort of locked themselves away in the research library, research facility that they've set up themselves and made their own domain. And it's a bit sad really because they seem to be more, not unhinged, unhinged is not the right word, I guess unbalanced without their partner, and knowing that Chrysoberyl was the calmer one makes a lot of sense now. Red Beryl, in charge of clothing and accessories, formerly partnered with Aquamarine. So Aquamarine, have we heard about this before? So Red Beryl is also partnerless. Again, sort of a parallel or similar to Alex in that they've set up their own domain in the world of fashion. And they are also really, in the same way that Alex does, like really forward and always like wanting more and more and more information and more challenges to their skills. So maybe, I guess without your partner, you kind of are pulled more and more towards your own extremes. there's no one to sort of pull you back or to balance you out. That's really interesting and sad as well. Rutile, the white madness, the gem doctor, only ever thinks about Padparadscha. Huh. I mean, I guess we knew that, but it was never so explicitly said out loud that that was Rutile's only obsession. Kongo Sensei. The ever sleepy Sensei. Yes, will we ever get to the bottom of why he is so sleepy? Apparently has no control over this. So it's okay, it's definitely something to do with his physical makeup, and also I still think the way that he closes up the cracks that happen when he pulls off bits of himself to shoot at the Lunarians. Cinnabar doesn't want to see the snow defiled by venom, and so does not want to patrol during the winter. Cinnabar has the softest heart out of all of the gems, I swear. It reminds me, so when the first time we hear the story about what's up with Cinnabar from Sensei, who's telling it to Twas, and we see that panel of Cinnabar reaching out for the flower petal and just dying inside as the flower physically dies. Oh, oh man, hats off to Ichikawa for coming up with that detail. Like, she doesn't want the snow to be defiled. So simple and so deadly at the same time. Okay, so bottom corner, Neptunite. Yes, that was Nepti. Shrouded in mystery, doesn't speak. Probably because of numerous traumas that they've been through. Wouldn't be surprised. Benetois. Yes, it was Benetois. Or Benetoit. The model of common sense occasionally grows anxious over an inability to figure out what Neptunite is thinking. Again, we're missing some communication skills and communications courses that these gems really need to be signing up to. Amethyst. We haven't we've seen Amethyst in some battles here and there, but we haven't really gone back to them since the Spotlight way back in, I think it was volume 2. Twin crystals often don't need to speak to understand each other, as opposed to Benetois and Nepti, who don't speak at all and cannot understand each other. Phospholite looking all happy there with the new hairdo and torturing Cairngorm in some way. So Phos, the hero of our story, whose body now contains almost no phospholite. Please expect great things in this volume too. I love how Ishikawa uses the opportunity in these character introductions to sort of throw these really subtle hints at us about what's coming next. And you can either like read way too much in it or not pick up anything that actually means something. It's awesome. Cairngorm, starting to get used to being forced to wear cute clothes, stubbornly refuses to awaken to a love of them. Cairngorm, just, forget that there's the youngest technically of the gems, except now, of course, Morga and Goshen, the new Morga and Goshen. But they were the youngest, and they were just starting to experience life in all its freshness and newness. And so cute clothes, they deserve all of the cute clothes in the world. Hemimorphite. Oh. So this is a gem that we haven't, we've probably seen in like shots in the background and stuff, but not actually gotten to know. Hardness of 5. Firmly grounded enough to make up for Melon's flightiness, supposedly. Watermelon tourmaline. Grew up as a free spirit, as you can see. The posing, I don't know what they're doing there. I guess playing some kind of game. I don't know. Charades, maybe. Peridot, this is the paper gem. Team sexy. Very laid back, except when it comes to paper. I mean, that sounds like a life well lived, I think. Nothing phases you, like not war, earthquakes, the loss of people, just paper. Paper is all that matters. Sphene. Again, on the other half of Team Sexy, has a reputation for having a scary expression when immersed in work. Not unlike some people I do know. It's cute. They have like interesting colored red and green bits in their hair. I know nothing about Sphene, the actual gem. I'll have to look that up later. And of course our diamonds. Yellow diamond. The eldest apparently can't forget certain things despite a strong desire to. Again, just that little peek under the hood of yellow diamond, like underneath that happy face is like a world of pain and trauma. Diamond, adorable, but still has worries. Oh, I love that with a pair of diamonds. It's like they're the happy-go-lucky, supposedly airheaded ones, but they too also have their own fair share of issues that they need to work through. And I can't help but notice that we have a diamond missing for the first time, I think. Bought? I don't know, I don't feel good about that. However much of an asshole Bort can be, I really like them. Oh no, okay. Contents, chapter 53, Moonworld. Yes, nice. I'm glad that we're jumping straight in and we don't have to wait like a couple or 2 chapters or something before we actually get the scoop on what's there. Chapter 54, A Machine for Prayer. Interesting, we've got some religious flavor there. Curse? Ooh. Okay. As always, where there is like religious themes going on, there's always some kind of curse that we need to deal with. Synthetic pearl. The making of gems, other than of that long and laborious natural process of like thousands and thousands of years beneath the sea. Crossroads, hope, unrest, suspicion, I wonder who that refers to, and parting. And of course the most important chapter of all, Land of the Loungewear. Okay, hints from, I don't know what that looks like, a staff of some kind, but weirdly shaped. Or kind of like, those pottery making things where you have to shape it with your hand. Kind of looks like that. Okay, chapter 53, Moonworld. Is that Sensei meditating with the blossom petals? Yeah, he's definitely heartbroken over losing Foss. And because remember right at the start, like in chapter 1 or something, when Foss asked Sensei to let them fight, and Sensei was like, that is the one thing that you will never do. I think that also came from a place of like knowing not only that Foss is weaker than the other gems physically, but I don't know, I guess out of all the gems, he wanted to protect them the most from the Lunarians being taken. And now it's actually happened. It's just all that dark. What are those shards of? Is that bits breaking off himself? But straight and uke. Oh, he doesn't know yet. But wait. In the top panel, it looks like he's thinking about something really tragic. Okay, did something happen? Phosphophylite has been taken. Something's cracking. Was that him cracking? Oh, that's pure rage in his eyes. And then it kind of dies down because he knows that he's got 2 gem kids in front of him. But I think they saw it. I'm sorry. Why? So yeah, he always blames himself when one of his kids gets taken. It all goes on him. And that's it. I mean, now we're at the moon. Oh my goodness, they have a landing pad and everything. Oh, they've definitely got more defined features the closer they get to the moon. I was wondering that. I was like, maybe like when they depart the moon, they somehow lose their physical features and they're letting their hair down. Phew. They are definitely more human-like on the moon. What if we actually get to know some of these moon people individually, like names and everything? Oh man. Look what we got. We made a huge catch today. Here's a hint. Oh, that's right. They have a fetish for phosphophylite, the mint green. Whoa, wait. Is this phosphophylite? Yep. You mean the variant? That's right. And we got it in one piece. That's amazing. I know, right? Notice the use of it. Like, the gems to them are purely objects for collection and exploitation. What a beautiful color. There are kind of a lot of cracks, but I got no complaints about its clarity or luster. Little did I know. It looks like the apophyllite that we used to bring in all the time way back when. What? It looks like the apophyllite that we used to bring in all the time way back when, but this one really is rare. Oh, apophyllite maybe just another kind of phosphophylite, but a more common type. These arms are gold, was it? What do we do with them? I think we can take them too, but I'll ask just in case. Oh, they can just shift and change forms and fly in those forms. Like, kind of like spirits, but with a physical casing. Oh, wait, sorry. Is that Foss unfurling themselves? Okay. So, Foss just straight up murdered a bunch of moon people. Right off the bat, as soon as they landed. Oh man. Hey, it's moving. But how? No way. We checked a million times. You can just talk. Are you mocking me? How was it that Foss was able to escape their checks? Did we cover that in the last volume? Whoa. Oh, it's like a whole complex. Just, I wonder how deep that goes down into the moon's surface. Okay, Foss just causing havoc on the landing strip. Oh, and I wonder what those things are, sort of like on the outside of the structure. They kind of look like the huge slug forms of the Admirabilis, like their shells. They're allowed to freely roam like that? I don't know, I guess if they've turned into livestock, as Ventricosis described, just grazing, I guess. Wow. Huh? What? Oh god, Foss looks so mad. They're not making a very, like, polite entrance. Oh my. Oh, who is that? Welcome. And Foss just slashes them through the abdomen. Oh my god, Foss. I mean, I know that, like, coming face to face with the very people or beings that have taken away the people you love the most and shattered them right before your very eyes, I can understand the rage. But I don't know. They're not in their own element here. Like, they're in a completely foreign soil. Just slashing left, right, and center. That moon lady looked nice. Oh, there's that pillar, I guess, that was in the opening page. Are the moon people like gems where they can just recover, like they just reform their shape even after they get slashed? Okay, so she's on to the moon surface. To the moon world. You're a lively one. Yeah, okay, it seems like they just reform. Oh. You're angry that we started talking? The thick atmosphere of your planet doesn't agree with us. It reminds us of unpleasant things in our past. So while we're down there, we hold our breath as much as possible. Huh? It reminds us of things that we found unpleasant. Oh, is it because, like, the environmental damage that was caused by the weird gravitational force fields of having 6 moons instead of just one? And so the Lunarians sort of remember what it was like for them to have to dive into the ocean. I mean, for the humans who are their ancestors to have to escape into the ocean. And then they obviously went to the moon as the soul. Oh, so interesting. It's interesting that they still retain those memories, though, of like pre-apocalypse. Where are they? Everywhere. Huh? I'm taking them back. Go ahead. Take as much as you like. This is a piece of Antarctica. Well, imitation Antarcticite. Don't. Oh no. What is that? It's like an ornament, a piece of jewelry. So it's imitation Antarcticite. It's a synthetic crystal that faithfully recreates the shape the gem was in when we collected it. We make them here. Think of this as your actual kin and watch. What is going on? Okay, they've got like a synthetically created piece of Antarcticite. Grunk. And they put it in the pot looking thing. It's grinding them? No. It is still coarse at level 4. Normally we grind them at level 10, so please imagine a finer powder. We take this and spread it flat. Wait, where are they? Everywhere. So they grind all of the gems that they take into powder and then they spread them out as to feed the admirals. Oh, this is so much worse than I thought. I don't know. Okay, I don't know how Ishikawa is going to make us sympathize with these Lunarians. I think that boat just left. Yep. So that's the Admirabilis feeding on a mound of... Wait, so is the whole surface just covered in ground gem dust? By decorating it with all of you, we make our world beautiful. We're not even like halfway through the first chapter and I'm already... Someday it will shine almost as bright as a star. Now then. Oh my god, so it is purely just for cosmetic purposes. Like, they're like, oh, the sun is an actual star and that's so shiny and bright. Maybe we can make the moon into a star as well one day if we get enough gem shards to grind. I need to close my mouth. Sorry. Okay, alright. Oh, poor Foss. They're standing in the remains of their gem brothers. And I feel like, didn't Rutile say once that once you get grind into really, really fine powder, it's almost impossible for you to be restored to your former self? You're welcome to take home as much of this perfect blend of brilliant grey powder as you like. I understand you've been waiting to speak with us for some time now. What would you like to know? This lady, whoever this moon person is, oh, their body shape is really interesting as well. It's kind of very similar to how the gems are shaped. Kind of genderless, I guess, as well. Oh, that was wild. I thought we were just halfway through this chapter, but no. Oh man, we've already got our first curveball. That's horrible. I don't know how they're going to justify this. They do look like they just really enjoy, like, even the robes that they wear, like very Roman Greco style. Like the flowing material. Chapter 54, A Machine for Prayer. What are you thinking, Foss? Oh. Well, you tried that before, Foss, and look, they're still standing there in front of you. We regenerate faster here. Okay, so that's why they're able to defeat them on Earth. It's, yeah, because the moon gives them, like, again, they're in their element. But Twas is just gonna keep trying because they're mad, like, and rightly so. Shh. Oh, what did they use? They're using some weapon that's fashioned out of gem as well. God, they just cut off their gold arms. And Rutile's not there to put them back together. Wham. God, that sword. Just like full on like face plant. It's face planted into the remains of their family. Your body is extraordinary. Surely you've grown weary of evolution. So have we. Yay! Yay! It's okay. It seems like the other Lunarians are kind of similar in how the gems are, in that a lot of them are really just babies. Like, all they know is what they've been taught by whoever is at the top of this hierarchy. It seems like it's this moon person who just smashed Foss into the ground. My prince, can we put these in the altar machine? What's a prince? So they do have rulers, unlike the gems, who are more of a family structure, with Sensei as the dad. No, put them back where they belong. Aw, stingy old prince. Just do as I say. Ugh, it's so sticky. Oh, so they're actually helping fit Foss back together. This is hard, I don't like it. Boo. All done. A tour. Would you like one? Why is this prince being so accommodating to Foss in particular? Is it because of their different body structure? Like, they're intrigued that they're made up of 7 or 8 different materials? Oh, whoa, full on, fully developed city. This is our city. They kind of all just like peeking out from the windows. We built it from the unique metals and mineral oils that seep up from under the moon's surface. The mineral oil softens at night and solidifies again in the morning. This causes the town to change shape slightly day by day. There's more on that one. The materials for items such as my sword and the synthetic stones I showed you rise to the surface along with the metals and mineral oils. You see, our world was originally part of your planet, so it has a similar material composition. That is how we are able to so closely replicate your kind. Oh, so... Wait, so... They... In the same way that gems form in the sea and then eventually rise and are spat out onto the shore of nascency, a similar thing happens on the moon, except I guess the Lunarians create the conditions under which these synthetic gems or synthetic stones come up out of the surface of the moon. So fascinating. It doesn't sound like they need to grind the gems though. That sounds purely just, again, for purposes of looking good. Like making the moon look good. My prince, can we crash the phosphorite now? It's already falling apart. Oh my god. No. Go away. Boo, mean old prince. Boo, boo, we're bored. Play with us. Okay, so it's a society of one prince and countless degenerates. Is Prince your name? It is not my name, but it is what I am called. It was used among the animals from which we originate to refer to individuals produced by the leaders of society, who shared their classification. But sometimes it was simply used to indicate an especially prominent individual. The form of address means very little. Your kind too use many words without knowing their original meaning. For example, school and sensei. This just challenging every concept that has ever been introduced to your mind and is like, why do we think this thing is a thing? It's very postmodernist. By animals from which you originate, you mean humans? Ah, I see Ventricosus did indeed explain to you about humans. Okay, so much less pronounced reaction than Sensei when asked by Foss about humans. Like Sensei would just kind of freeze up and just shut down. And that you want to go back to being human. Glop. Hey, there you are. My prince, I don't know why, but we can't keep the little squirts away from the rock. Yeah, so the Admirables also were very, found Foss very attractive. I guess they also liked the taste of phosphofolite. King. Oh. Oh, and also, of course, because Foss has agate as part of them, and it was the king. Not Ventricosus, Achilleatus, yes. So obviously the slugs here, or the Admirables here, smell that on Foss. I heard he wanted to go back to being human. The Admirables are hasty and jump to their own conclusions. Oh, so there's more to it. Ventricosus only had part of the story. We can talk more at leisure up ahead. This is when the mineral oil flows. Watch your step. So somehow everything sort of shifts shape but manages to stay up as a structure. Oh, that hand catch. I mean, I know it's just like a slip and it's just catching Foss, but I can't help but feeling like there's a lot more meaning to that. Like there's some kind of union that's slowly forming between Foss and whoever this prince is. This way. Oh, did they just like... They totally shifted form again and now they're wearing a business suit. And Foss is just still in these torn up, I guess, kind of just their original form, no clothes. Red Barrel would have a fit. And Foss almost looks like they're wearing a dress of some kind and is being led by a prince up these mysterious stairs. Oh, it's so rich in potential symbolism. I might be reading too much into it. Yes, okay, you can't deny that anymore. That panel, that first one up there, they totally look like a prince and princess sort of surveying their land. Have a seat. It's got servants and a bouquet and like nice fine dining implements. What? This is so so foreign to the world that we've left behind with the gems. Also because gems don't need to eat. Humans are a species of living creature that existed long ago. They are your ancestors as well, okay? Because they are animals, all their functions eventually shut down and they enter a state known as death, at which point their flesh and bone components return to the planet. Meanwhile, the spirit, and we learned this at the end of human civilization, the spirit is ejected from the body and then is broken down into the purest elements of spirit, continuing through space until it arrives at a certain point in the universe. From there, it is absorbed into a realm known as an alternate universe. This much was determined through actual observation. Okay, so this gives lie to the theory that when the humans became extinct and their bodies broke down, it was the Admirables and the Gems, so the flesh and the bones, who went into the sea, and then the spirits, of course, were ejected out and somehow made their home on the moon. Also, I can't help but think that Rutile would have an appreciation for all of this talk about, we observed the universe and then here are our conclusions. It's a very scientific method. But I want to know what the alternate universe is. Okay, here we go. Our hypothesis is that this alternate universe is a peaceful world. A world filled with eternal nothingness where no one becomes anyone. Okay. But only the purest spirit with all extraneous material removed, can never reach it. To remove those impurities, the spirit requires the prayers of a separate, living human. Quality is irrelevant. A band of transformed human spirits stranded on the moon, with no prayers to help them. That is what we are. Okay, pause for a sec. Okay, so this is totally in line with what enlightenment is. So the alternate universe is really enlightenment. It's like this in-between world where it's emptiness and also everything. I mean, there's nothing, but there's also everything. It's like that middle ground, right? The middle path. And so the Lunarians' goal is to reach that enlightenment, but they can't reach it because they don't have people to pray for them. So they need someone external to them that's a living human to send their souls over. Kind of like, is that what Sensei was doing? Like what Sensei did for Shiro and the game pieces? He said a prayer for them, and then that's why they were able to dissipate, and I guess they went to this alternate universe where you sort of become one with the universe. Yeah, the eternal nothingness. Oh my gosh, my brain is spinning so fast now. So if they need Sensei to pray for them, well, I guess, is that why at the beginning we see Sensei kind of surrounded by the Lunarians who are just sort of like clinging onto his robes and stuff? And I guess they're sort of wanting Sensei to send them. Whoa! I wonder, okay, let's keep going. Do you understand me so far? And he's being so like refined with the napkin and the tiny little cuts and eating. I don't know what that is. And that machine was created to help us. Machine? Oh yes, you've never heard of machines. They're eating like flower petals? A machine is a tool made by humans to efficiently perform their labors for them. I was like, wait, why are they focusing on Sensei when talking about machines? The one you all call Sensei is the human's final creation, a machine made for prayer. Can you can you just like, you can almost touch the shock. Okay, so Sensei was a creation of the humans. He was made by them, which explains like this odd connection that he has with humans and why he wasn't able to destroy a replica of one. But he also is a prayer machine, but somehow he's rebelled against that function. Because obviously, if he worked as intended, then there would be no Lunarians left, right? Like they would all just be happy in the alternate universe. But the question is why he refuses. The humans' creation. Yes, although I understand that originally it was created from a sentimental standpoint to prevent the last human from feeling lonely. What? In essence, the machine is a tremendously destructive device that has the power not only to destroy the human body, but to deconstruct the spirit instantaneously. But at some point, it broke down. It stopped doing what it was built to do, while we remain here, spirits who have yet to be deconstructed. And so, we have spent our days trying everything we can think of to prod the tool into doing its job. And we don't know why. Okay, so that explains all the psychological mind games, like sending down these things, trying to force Sensei, I guess, to sympathize and to be like, okay, fine, I'll send you guys. But it cares for you, gems. What is he cutting into? Looks like a brain. This Sensei as a machine, this idea, I'm still getting used to. It's still messing with me. So he was created to keep the last human company, but also to send souls. Kind of like a multi-purpose machine. Oh, it was originally created as company, but then it became a device for sending souls. Okay. That's why you kidnap us? Yes. Like a form of blackmail? Not that I'm trying to defend the machine, but it doesn't mean to deceive you. Its programming seems to prevent it from divulging its secrets without a human's permission. Well, anyway, here we are, tens of thousands of years later, and we've run out of ideas on how to provoke the device. Okay, I sincerely apologize to Sensei for not knowing that he physically cannot speak about the humans, and I guess his origins and why he's there. Oh my god, that makes Sensei as well. His story is on a tragic par with the gems. If Sensei were out of the picture, you would have no reason to attack us? Oh no, Foss, what are you thinking? What a novel thought, but we can't have you merely destroying our tool. I want it fixed. Still, you make a good point. If we turn the madness up just a notch, the situation may change. Huh? We must do something to shake up the machine. What is that liquidy stuff just flowing out onto the table? If you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Splutch. Care for a bite? I can't help but feel like Lafos is plotting something. Like, their loyalties to Sensei, they love Sensei, there's no question about that, but I can almost see their mind ticking as like, well, if it will mean that no one else gets taken, then maybe it's worth handing in the one for the sake of the many, even if it is Sensei. But then there's this whole like needing to make Sensei work as intended. They're kind of making Sensei sound like an AI of sorts. Maybe it is just AI. I would not take that bite either. It's probably some... Ooh, maybe it's the Admirabilis flesh. It will cool your head and help you think more clearly. Yep, never take someone's offer of food if they tell you it's going to help you think more clearly. End of chapter 54. Damn, we have had at least one massive reveal in each chapter so far. It's just, and I think we're just getting started. Chapter 55, Curse. Don't do it, Foss. Chomp. Why the attack style like eating? What do you think? It's sticky. I see. Oh, what is it? The hour is late, but I would like to continue our discussion. Come this way. Oh, that's just dripping down Foss's mouth. The name Congo was chosen because it means the hardest substance in the world. I'm sure you already know the machine lives up to that name. Destroying it physically is nigh impossible, and hence the need to destroy Sensei psychologically and mentally. Its exterior is made of something called pure artificial hexagonal diamond. Okay, Sensei is a diamond. To think the interior would break down first. Apparently the humans didn't give much thought to the future of their creations. No consideration at all. Wasn't there something that Sensei said to the game pieces about how when you create something but with no thought of how it's going to end, or with no thought of when it's supposed to end, you just create a huge massive mess? It sounds like the humans really messed or stuffed this up. I believe your world has no machines because of some emotional scarring that makes Congo unwilling to advance civilization. It would help in keeping the machine's identity secret as well. Incidentally, we have not succeeded in synthesizing pure hexagonal diamond here. For your reference, allow me to tell you some of what we have tried to provoke Congo. Okay, this is like the behind the scenes strategizing behind Shiro and all of the others that came, right? Okay, so it's interesting that this prince has the idea of Sensei holding back the gem civilization. So, which explains like sort of the more pure, or not pure, but like the less advanced technology and stuff. And just like the basics of basics with what the gens are working with and their weapons and all of that. All of that is fashioned from very elemental substances. Because it all goes back to Sensei. And I guess what happened to him when he was made a machine, and I guess he became aware of that, and then he was, I guess, just left there. I wonder what the emotional scarring is. Maybe the doctor was the last human that was left with Sensei, and then he had to watch that human die off and he was just left there all alone. But I don't know, but then the humans don't really come off looking good either, because they essentially created Sensei to do something for them, so forcing him to do this whole prayer business, and also force him to not talk about it. We went through a semi-perpetual cycle of the basic pleading, discussion, persuasion, attack, groveling, and threatening suicide right in front of him. That is some messed up, like, psychological pressure. So that's what they were all doing every time that he closed his eyes or something or went to meditate. We tried convincing the gems we kidnapped to work with us. Almost every one of them either self-destructed or lost its mind. Sometimes we would return the gems in that state, but when they failed to show any further movement, we retrieved them again. They returned the gems in that state. We manufactured synthetic gemstones to look like you, but they never gained autonomy. We saw no results after we dropped them on your planet, so we retrieved them too. We made composites of your kind and synthesized gems, and the outcome was the same. Apart from those single-shot attempts at high stimulation, we have, as you are aware, occasionally returned pieces of gemstones, though never enough to complete any of you. Those pieces were all synthesized. Can we see who those captured gems are? No, not really. So, okay, if all of the pieces that I'm assuming that he's talking about the parts that they used to shatter the gems, like in the weapons and stuff that they collected, if they were all synthesized, does that mean that there was never any hope of them ever putting back the original gem? Yeah, because they've already lost. Well, they don't even have the inclusions or the personality of the original gem in them. And so there was never any hope. I'm so sad about this. As of yet, that strategy has had no effect. There is a strong possibility that the broken Congo has not realized that those fragments are imitations. He either doesn't know or he knows but is like, well, I need something to keep my gem kids going, right? Like, if they believe that they can put together their lost family members back from the pieces, who am I to be like, no, they're actually fake imitations? The clothing you see us wear is a part of our strategy. We take the forms of entities that Congo should bow down to. Okay, that explains the suit. This brings us to our mid-stage strategies. As long-running projects, we make our moon sparkle with fragments of all of you and display it for the machine to see. Immaculate. And he's sipping like a whiskey or something. Oh, there's that martini. Yeah, sorry. There's the martini from the beginning. I mean, you've got to have a martini, right? When you're talking about the psychological breaking down of a tragic machine figure who has his kids to think about. And when you're talking about grinding his kids into dust and displaying it in the sky to tease him or to blackmail him. Damn, I'm just thinking about the question, do I think the Lunarians are evil? I know the answer is complicated, but I'm gonna go for yes. At this stage, I think they are. I mean, obviously because they don't have any humanity in them, and so that's why they're incapable of being sympathetic, I guess. And also, they just think of of Sensei and the rest of the gems and the Admirables as its. They're not. It's like they're like, to us it would be like animals used for meat production, right? That's what the gems are, and Sensei is to them. Wow, this got real dark really fast. What was that giant life form? The one you dropped on us? You mean the dog? It was something that Congo once cared for. The device must not have had permission to prey for non-humans when it died, so its components ended up here. We took them, and after much hard work, we recreated it into what you saw. Sensei can't pray for non-humans. What were those little bitty things with the eyeballs? The molecular geometry puzzle game? Like the dog, Congo seemed to care for it very much. In the end, it sided with the machine. So it did have, the game pieces did have a consciousness. And okay, he keeps calling Sensei the machine, but clearly Sensei exhibited very human-like qualities, you know, developing affections for certain things and people. He passes the Turing test, I think. Like, physically, you know, he's indestructible, but his mind is as human as it can probably get. Certainly more human than the Lunarians. What was the thing called Doctor? The human female that created Congo. Yeah. We tried to recreate the woman too, but what you saw was the limit of our current technology. You see, all of our plans have failed. After all is said and done, we are those who received no prayers when we were human. The damned, the cursed, the wretched remains of what was already trash. With our fragmented knowledge, we can't do anything right. Wait, so they were human trash? Does that mean that they are the cursed souls of the souls who are evil and therefore did not get any prayers from anyone else? Like, they had no one to pray for. Like, they literally were just either completely alone or they were so evil that no one wanted to pray for them when they died. That's so fascinating. And now, ironically, beyond when they're in the spirit form, they're carrying out these awful acts and, like, you know, threatening all these things and torturing Sensei psychologically and all that. Grinding up gem kids. They're doing all of that to get some reprieve for their soul. Oh, don't tell me. You're getting down on yourself again, my prince. The other Lunarians are so happy. It's just scarily happy. Come on, what's past is past. Don't you get tired of being depressed? There's always next time. Let's just cheer up and move on. Oh, my prince, you're drinking again, but you can't hold your liquor. And that's a strong drink too. Is he gonna go crazy? I feel like, isn't this... I mean, it's not the same as what Foss endures when she's with the other gems, but it's a similar kind of like, oh, why are you so depressed? You know, can't you just focus on the good things or focus on what you're good at, get involved with society and all that? So I feel like this is sort of a basis from which Foss and the prince will develop a certain affinity with each other and maybe even an alliance, I think. Excuse me, Gemstone. You were picking on our prince, weren't you? Cut it out. Our leader is very sensitive. Ironically, none of them seem to have picked up the sensitivities that the prince has. If our prince really felt like it, he would seriously be dust in less than a second, so don't get cocky. Now, stop being rude to our guest. Go away. Boo, boo. Oh no, is Twas gonna develop like... What's that syndrome again? It's escaped my mind. It's like when you develop feelings for your captor. Damn it. It's annoying me so much that I can't think of it. But I know you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they're so similar to the baby gen, like just having a good time, ribbing each other out. Except for this guy. Why do you want to be nothing? Are things so bad the way they are? Yes. Why? Is he gonna say something about immortality and how it just doesn't end and he wants it to end? I want to set them free as soon as possible. They may look like they're happy, but they're forcing it and they're exhausted. We go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning, eat, defecate, converse with, settle disputes with, love each other and fight with one another. Constantly fighting the angst that comes from never progressing. Taking what little comfort we can find and finding imaginary problems. All in a never-ending cycle. And then in the back of my mind, I can hear Yellow Dyer being like, yep. And Padpa too. After wandering through eternity, these natural human tendencies are an agony that no longer suits us. Yet for some unknown reason we cling to them, we cannot fight them. It is a terrible curse. We must get Congo working, and quickly. The night grows old. Let's go. Oh man, it's the curse of being unable to die. Like, as humans, yeah, I always say it's like, as humans, it's always like a lot of humans fear death because we don't really want things to end. But on the flip side, if we never died and we had to go through this sort of existence forever with no end in sight, we would be, as the princess, exhausted and just, we would do anything to end it, right? Which colors my idea of the Lunarians and their so-called evilness. Like, it's not like they're doing this just because they're evil. They've been driven to all of these terrible actions because of their unending condition. So you can say they're evil, but they have a reason to be doing these evil acts. Like, you got to do what is necessary, right? Their structures are pretty cool. There's that. We prepared a room for you in that tower. My kind, it's like the princess trapped in a tower. My kind sleeps in the mineral oil, but I doubt you would find that very pleasant. Get plenty of rest. If you need anything, please let us know. Oh yes, I should have pointed this out sooner, but that is the planet you came from. There's that classic shot of the Earth from space. I wonder if Foss is homesick. You are the one who will save us. I can feel it. At this point, I'm very glad that Cinnabar did not follow Foss along on this trip to the moon, because I can imagine that they would only be interested in Foss and immediately just take Cinnabar to be ground into moon dust. So, like, it all worked out for the best. Oh, there's that lotus blossom as in on the bed. Not a single thing is anything like I expected. What do I do? The only thing I can do, think. And they can do that now because of Lapis. Think. If I let my senses come back to me, I'll fall apart. That's a beautiful shot. End of chapter 55. Chapter 56, Synthetic Pearl. Oh man, they're really still quite messed up, aren't they? They need Rutile's, some of Rutile's TLC. Glop. Uh-oh, he's come in. Oh, I mean, yeah. Oh, they're all different shapes and sizes. Smell royalty, but they gone. Okay, so they've lost their abilities of speech and I guess connecting more complex thoughts. They kind of been reduced to their more base instincts, the Admirables. Oh, is that what this is about? Sorry, it's just some shell I got from Ventricosis. Good morning! What? Starting today, I will be monitoring your taking care of your every need. My name is Cicada. It's very nice to meet you. Oh no, they've got their own personal servant slash like minder. And yeah, they're definitely monitoring Foss as some kind of experiment. Scientific observational experiment. Honorable Fosbergy. Honorable posy fight. I already have a message for you from our prince. I see. Quite the talent, this one. To know that Lapis is in there and who, you know, when they found out how not intelligent Foss was in the past and how horrified they were, this is the perfect like servant for them. It's the same everywhere. Gems, Lunarians, Admirables too. There's always that, you know, there's always certain types. You are to attend a meeting every afternoon at 6. Oh, but I understand. In the meantime, I will show you around our moon world facilities. But first, these are for you. They are pieces of your tummy. Great Hoss. You have nothing to worry about. I will repair you. No, that's okay. I'll do it myself. Oh, please don't hold back on my account. Oh, you are a strong one, aren't you? Physically, they're like Hercules built. This way, please. They gotta do something about those Admirables that will not stop following Foss. I can't let you in. I said no. Squish. Halt. You are dismissed. Oh my goodness. Foss is the boss, man. Like, Foss has got obviously all these different components to her that make them a lot stronger than they would be in their original 3.5 form. They've got the brain of Lapis. They have the command of Ventricosis or I still feel like the shell was from Machiavelli's. I don't know why. Anyway, one of the royal admirabilis, and so they listened to Foss even on the moon. That was amazing. It's this way. Foss's face. Oh. Wow. This is the synthetic gemstone manufactory. And up ahead is the split sphere high pressure apparatus for synthesizing diamond. Clearly they don't know what is coming out of their mouth. They're just reading off the manual. Give me that. I can't read it. Oh. Wait, so Lapis can't read? Shall I explain it for you? Welcome, Phosphophylite. Oh, this is another, I guess, I don't know, head researcher? Head synthetic gemstone manufacturing manager? It's so weird how we're getting to know all of these individual Lunarians now. Like, obviously when they leave the moon, they get stripped of all of their individuality. We put a mixture of carbon and 8 types of metal in the center of the apparatus and expose it to extremely high temperatures and pressure to synthesize large diamonds. The cylinder you see past it is the seed crystal device for growing corundum, and beyond that you'll see the hydrothermal synthesis device for creating beryl. Further down you'll see synthesis devices suited to the properties of chrysoberyl and various other gemstones. So this is very akin to what happens in real life, like when people try to synthesize diamonds, like with the pressure and all of that. On the lower floor, our artisans are processing the synthetic gems to prepare them for their respective applications. Poor quality, unstable gems immediately melt in the atmosphere, so we use them mainly for arrow and spearheads. For the replicas of you and your kind, our best artisans process the finest quality materials into the same shape the originals were in when we harvested them. How disturbing must it be for Foss to be hearing all of this in such a detached manner? The way that they're talking about how they sort their gem brothers into high quality and poor quality, and then, you know, the crappy ones get made into weapons and sort of discarded almost as like trash, and then the good ones like Foss get recreated or synthesized into their original forms using synthetic material. How is Foss not mad? Like, well, I guess they got all of that rage out at the beginning, right, when they were slashing left, right, and center the moment they landed, but I guess now they've had more of a chance to really think things through, and they're sort of at the stage where they're like, I have to absorb as much information as possible, and then I need to make a plan as to what the hell I'm supposed to do. Is there a way to tell them apart from us? The originals have inclusions. Yeah. Yep, okay, so which answers the question as to, yeah, there was never any hope of the... Wait. Oh no, actually, the poor quality unstable gems immediately melt in the atmosphere, so we use them mainly for arrow and spearhead. So that is the original gems, and so they would have the inclusions in them, right? And so I guess they would have been able to put together the original gem if, assuming they had got enough of the pieces. Okay. The originals have inclusions. We do infuse them with imitation inclusions to deceive Congo, but they don't have the same qualities as your natural ones. Yeah. Okay, sorry, that just answered my question. Yeah, so back to my original thought. Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to create or put back together their gem family members from the bits that were dropped. I see. Well, it sure seems like you're working hard. That's all Foss has to say. Pardon my saying so, but I have never met such an unusual gem. You are the first stone we've met who has been so cooperative. I haven't decided to cooperate yet. I see. Noble Foss. Let's move on. Okay, finally got Foss's name right, even if it's the short version. Let's move on. Next is our test site for human synthesis. It says humans are pretty watery. They're actually made up of 70% water. Wow. Oh, that's it. The fluttery, white, scummy thing. That is what makes up a human. What is that? I feel sick. Is it because of that thing that Foss ate before? Oh, I know the feeling. I don't really like it here either. There's always weird music playing. Let's take a break. Yeah, I still don't know what that white stringy thing is. Cicada. Cicada's actually very cute, like growing on me. Kind of just happy with munching on muffins, whatever that is. Just very happy looking. You said your name is Cicada. What's the prince's name? The Honorable Akemia. Oh, it's very Greek sounding. Like a Greek philosopher type name. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Why not? Apparently it's embarrassing to have a name. Sounds like a pain for both of you. Oh, I guess if your goal is ultimate enlightenment and wanting to be absorbed into the empty nothingness, then you're not really meant to be holding on to things that individualize you. Aren't you embarrassed to have a name? No. We get our names after begging our prince for them, so they are our treasures. We all feel that way. Oh, but it's kind of weird that he had to beg to be called Cicada. I wonder why. So they don't seem, well, at least Cicada doesn't seem ready to sort of give up on living and enjoying the life that they do have right now. Really? I'm surprised you all trust him so much. Is the irony not lost on Foz when they say that? Of course, we love our prince. Ugh, this all sounds so familiar. Okay, so they do get it. And Foss is not one to speak because they do love Sensei, like genuinely, despite all of the mistrust. Please don't tell our prince that you heard that name. Okay. The relationship between these two is growing at a very affectionate rate. Trust, huh? Oh, Foss, what are you thinking? Oh no, are they thinking about how like they can manipulate Sensei's trust in them to somehow bring an end to the war? I feel like given the choice between like, do you want to keep all your gem brothers safe or do you want to give up Sensei? I feel like Foss would be like, yep. I mean, I don't want to do it, but I just feel like that's how Foss would swing. Cicada, where is your prince? Akemia. What? What is that appearance? And the shoes and are those like bunny ears? I don't know. What is he holding? Like a ball. You're early. I'm terribly sorry. It's no trouble. I apologize for my appearance. I suppose this is urgent. like making his glasses disappear. There's one thing I'm pretty sure Sensei has yet to experience. Oh no, oh no. Is this the betrayal? And that's our betrayal. I'll talk to my fellow gems and convince them to come to the moon with me. What? Oh, Foss. Wait, is this the brash side of Foss coming out? How is that even gonna work? Like, what pathway is there ahead of us to make this idea even fly? Because I mean, I guess Foss could somehow try to be like, well, the sensei betrayed our trust by not telling us all these things, but then it wasn't really his choice to not say anything about the humans and then his connections to the Lunarians and all that. And like his role and how he has to pray their souls away. And also the gems already know, like they already know that something strange is between the Lunarians and Sensei, but they love him all the same. So I don't know, man. I don't know if this plan is gonna just how is my question. Unless Foss is more thinking like, okay, I'll just get a few of them to come with me to pretend like we're being taken to the moon by Lunarians, and then that will cause a huge psychological break in Sensei, which will then probably restore his functioning, like his original function as a machine. Maybe that's sort of what Twas is thinking. And so it's like a betrayal, but it's more for show than the actual substance of a betrayal. I don't know. So you propose to return to your planet, find gems who are willing to cooperate, and bring them here. Am I understanding you correctly? Yes. Also, what's to stop the Lunarians from just grinding them up once they get to the moon? Like, how can Foss trust the Lunarians to not do that? And the odds are, there is a chance. I understand. I'll say it's worth a try. But if you will be crossing to the other side, then I must insist on keeping an eye on you. What? Oh, he's gonna like plant some chip on her or something. Thack. Oh! It's an eyeball transplant. Wait. I insist on keeping an eye on you. Literally plunges an eyeball into Foss's one. Oh my god. This is a synthetic pearl, the culmination of all our knowledge. Fake surveillance eye. It will keep track of all your movements. Now, let's start making the arrangements. I mean, come on. You could have given a gem a little bit of heads up, but I don't know, maybe that was the best way to do it. Like, how, I don't know. You know, proper surgical procedures, mate. I feel sick. Why does it keep flashing back to the human white thing? Is it because what Foss ate contained parts of human in it? Oh no. Oh, they passed out. I don't know if it's because of the eye, like the spontaneous eye surgery, or it's again what they ate before. Great Foss. What? Clack. Yeah. Oh, look at that wardrobe change. It looks very of like a royal outfit with that high collar and the off shoulder, you know, shimmy things. Sorry, my fashion vocabulary is quite limited. You look wonderful. Honestly, I wasn't sure how I felt about you wandering around half naked all the time. This is such a relief. Look who's talking. Are you feeling better? No, wait, are you really coming with me? Yes, I am. Is that a good idea? Oh, well, whatever. Let's go. Is it, I question the efficacy of stringing along a Lunarian body when going back to Earth, especially when Bort is still around. Well, and all the other gems, but Bort especially. Oh. Will be the first gem to have gone back to Earth of their own volition and traveling in the company of their sworn enemies, the Lunarians, with their own personal Lunarian Hercules as a buddy. And they will definitely notice the synthetic pearl eye, right? Look at that on the next panel, just for the next chapter. It's impossible not to see. Oh, wait. Pearl is one of the materials in the treasure tower, is it not? Ah. There we go. Just one step closer. Wait, are we even missing anything? I'll have to check. Damn, okay. End of chapter 56. Oh, where do we start? Look, we knew the Moon chapters were gonna be a wild ride, but I feel like my emotions have just been put through the ringer. Okay, so let's start with that horrible reveal that the gems who are taken by the Lunarians are ground down into powder and then spread all over the surface of the moon as a strategic taunt to Sensei. And not only that, but the Lunarians have technology that allows them to recreate synthetic versions of the gems, which they then use to create either the tips of their weapons or to recreate the original forms of the gems as they found them. And their level of deception is so highly developed that they've taken to injecting imitation inclusions into these parts of gems so that any that are recovered back on Earth, say after one of their attacks, looks as though they are the original gem. And so that right there, as I said before, that just killed any point of the gems collecting parts of their taken family members, even though someone like Cairngorm had pretty much given up hope of ever recovering enough parts to put together an original gem. I don't think that even in their wildest imaginations that they would ever think that even those parts were fake imitation versions, which makes the whole situation and the hopelessness that they are sort of wallowing in even worse. We also met the prince, which I thought was a very accurate name for him, whatever his real name was, Ekmia, because I immediately thought of The Prince by Machiavelli, which is like the Bible for doing whatever is necessary or achieving like an ultimate moral good through immoral means. So, I mean, that piece of writing, like The Prince, gets a really bad rep. It doesn't actually advocate for mindless tyranny or cruelty, but it does fit in very well with The Prince here in Houseki no Kuni, his approach to doing things, because he's doing all of this kidnapping and the pressuring of Sensei, the psychological torture, all for the sake of being able to set his people free and to shock Sensei into praying for them to carry out his original function that he was built for. So the looming question in my mind now is, why doesn't Sensei just pray for the Lunarians? Is there something inherently so broken in him that causes him not to be able to? Or is he choosing not to? Because I thought that we've definitely seen him pray, I guess, for something like Shiro and also the game pieces as well. But then he couldn't destroy the replica of the Doctor. So is there something in him that's like, okay, no more praying for human souls, I guess. So for non-human souls, he's fine, but no more doing of what I was made to do because it was so traumatic. Um, I don't know. I'd love to hear any theories on that. So Foss also got a tour of the facilities, which was wild to me because I don't know how Foss is standing there absorbing all this information about how their fellow gems get processed and what's happened to them over so many thousands of years with such a straight face. When the lead scientist, I think it was, commented like, "Oh, you're the first gem who's ever cooperated with us," and Foster's like, "No, no, I'm not cooperating yet." That was so telling because it just confirms that they are more open to the idea of doing whatever is necessary to bring an end to this war and to stop gems from being taken again. Like the one thing that so traumatizes them still, which is why I could just see Foss setting up this temporary alliance with the Lunarians, because that's just how they do these political calculations. There are other things that I'm hoping we get more answers to in the next few chapters, like the human synthesis that's going on and what those floating white things are. There's probably, like, again, some terrible truths behind those. And of course, after these few chapters, yep, so Foss is again one step closer to enlightenment, symbolically, because this new pearl eye has been implanted into their eye, or stabbed into their eye socket. So that adds one more to the treasure tower collection. I think the only thing they're missing now is something called carnelian, I think. They're also like closer to enlightenment in that they learned about Sensei's identity as a programmed machine who was made by the humans and has been hounded by the Lunarians for their release. I'm also not super confident in Foss's plan on paper, like the plan to convince other gems to go to the moon with them for the purpose of creating some kind of emotional response in Sensei in the hopes that he will, I don't know, get jolted back into his original function, which is something the Lunarians haven't succeeded at doing for so long. So Foss would need to convince the others that for the sake of ending the war or stopping more of their beloved fellow gems from being taken to the moon, they need to go to the moon directly. And by doing so, break or re-break Sensei, which even sounding that out loud, well, saying that out loud sounds insane and not something I feel that that bunch is capable of wrapping their heads around. I'm also really worried about the optics of it all. Like, it's gonna look like Foss switched sides and has brought an entire Lunarian army along with them back to Earth. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. So that is it for this reading. Thank you guys again so much for joining me on this crazy trip, and hopefully the next reading won't take so long to upload because I really do need those answers. So until next time guys, be good and take care.